Until the early 20th century, everyone thought that we have pretty clear laws of physics that govern everything around us. The classical physics and the equations we had till then predicted everything we say, be it a moving ball, be it ripples, be it planets. Classical physics explained things with great certainty and applied to all the objects we knew until then. But then came some experiments and some results which literally shook the world. These evidences built up to something which is popularly called the quantum theory. Basically, it is a physical theory which describes the properties of nature on an atomic scale. Now, this theory was so counterintuitive that even the greatest minds in physics could not digest it. Einstein himself spent years to prove this theory wrong, which he could not do. He believed that we were missing something there. So what is the quantum theory? Why is it so counterintuitive? And how did it all happen? Let us dive into the quantum world and understand things. Quantum theory is one of the two main pillars of modern physics, along with general relativity. These two theories claim to explain virtually everything there is about the universe. In general relativity, events are continuous and deterministic, meaning that every cause matches up to a specific local effect. In quantum mechanics, events produced by the interaction of subatomic particles happen in jumps with probabilistic rather than definite outcomes. Technically, quantum theory is actually the theory of any objects isolated from their surroundings, but because it is very difficult to isolate large objects from their environments, it essentially becomes a theory of the microscopic world of atoms and subatomic particles. Now, this theory is so weird, it is so ridiculous, and it has so many counterintuitive things that you can't even imagine. So, don't be afraid, we are not going to go into much depth, and anyhow, it is safe to say that no one understands quantum mechanics completely at this point. It all basically started with a quest to know more about the building blocks of matter, that is, the atoms. To understand the beginning of the quantum leap, you need to know more about a few events, which are: in 1898, J.J. Thomson discovering electrons using the properties of cathode rays. In 1900, Max Planck sowing the seeds for quantum theory by stating that electromagnetic energy could only be emitted in quantized form. His quanta are now called photons by physicists. In 1905, Einstein proved the photoelectric effect by suggesting that the light is made up of packets of energy. With that, he proved that light exists in discrete packets of energy, giving the light a particle behavior. So around this time, there were a lot of new experiments and a lot of new things, including Einstein's theory of relativity. A lot of people were trying to explain atoms and atomic behavior as well. One such behavior was that atoms have a very strange property wherein they emit extremely selective wavelengths when heated. For those of you who don't know, these selective wavelengths are actually called an emission spectrum, and it is unique for every atom. Now, there were experiments that aimed to contribute to the explanation of what quantum theory was. And one such explanation, which we will be starting with, is the Bohr's atomic model. This property was explained by Niels Bohr in 1913. He developed an atomic model named Bohr's model, wherein he said that electrons are fixed orbits and electrons can only exist in these orbits. He explained that when heated, electrons get agitated and jump from the lower state to a higher state, and that is called electron excitation. When these electrons get back to their original state, called de-excitation, they emit energy which is very definite. It is like electrons just jump from one state to another, they don't travel the space between. Bohr now put this model together with the concepts of Max Planck and explained that atoms and electrons have energy which is quantized, that is, it has some minimum value and will only have the multiples of these values, and this is why there are only specific discrete orbits where electrons exist. Quickly, a lot of evidences came up proving Bohr correct. This was the beginning of the quantum era. The next big thing was hidden in an experiment called Young's double slit experiment, which we will be talking about right now. Basically, this double slit experiment was performed by Thomas Young in 1801, which proved the wave nature of light, and this result was opposite to what Einstein proved with the photoelectric effect. Scientists were not able to understand that how can light show one kind of behavior in some experiments and completely different behavior in some other experiments. Now coming back to the observations that were seen from the double slit experiment. It was in the 1920s that there was another surprise when two physicists named Davison and Germer performed the same double slit experiment with electrons. It resulted in electrons showing wave nature. Completely shocking, isn't it? An electron that was considered a particle till then showed the properties of a wave. Physicists argued that somehow while traveling, electrons spread up like waves. A lot of people could not digest it. But a physicist called Erwin Schrödinger came up with an equation called the Schrödinger wave equation that described these electron waves with pretty good accuracy. Though we got an equation which described the wave, how can an electron be a wave? The answer came from another physicist called Max Born. Born suggested that this wave was not a normal wave, rather it was a probability wave wherein the probability of an electron existing at one place is dependent on the wave size. Einstein argued that there was something missing in it, and he believed that we should be able to predict everything with certainty. Quantum theory suggested that an electron can be a particle as well as a wave at the same time. All this was and is still confusing to any common person. Adding to all the uncertainty, Heisenberg stated his uncertainty principle, that it is impossible to exactly measure the position and momentum of a particle at the same time. That's what leads us to the quantum entanglement. If you don't know about this till now, be ready to hear something which will blow your mind. Quantum mechanics predict that two particles can be linked together when they're close enough and they become entangled and their properties get connected. Now the weird thing here is that these particles will be connected even if we take them long away in opposite direction without any physical connection. This was first found by Schrödinger and was studied by Einstein. Einstein showed this bizarre prediction of quantum mechanics to say that something is surely missing and particle cannot get connected just like that, is as if there were no space in between. Einstein called this as the particle getting connected by some spooky actions. No one could understand whether the particle really get connected or it is decided beforehand only that these particles will have particular properties. It was in 1967 when a young astrophysicist, John Clauser, set up an experiment using the research of an Irish physicist, John Bell, and he proved that entanglement is actually real and the particle does get connected. After this, there were a lot of improvements in quantum theory, and all that gave rise to a field of physics called quantum mechanics. It was widely accepted and confirmed again and again by several experiments. It was also explained how classical mechanics come from quantum mechanics itself. We need a theory which unifies two of the best theories of the present time, namely quantum mechanics and general relativity. Let us wait for the grand unification. In the meantime, let us look at the other side of the world where these theories gave rise to a whole new segment of technology through its applications. Quantum mechanics is the base of all the modern day electronic gadgets. So besides that, let us discuss some applications which are already being used and some applications which might even become true in the future. Starting with quantum cryptography. For the people who don't know, cryptography is basically the encoding and decoding thing used to securely transfer data. Classical cryptography basically has two keys that are used to encode and decode information. Though this classical method is safe, there is always a risk of someone cracking the key and decoding the information. Researchers used quantum properties to make something called quantum keys, where the communicator sends information using polarized photons. Quantum rules dictate that reading the polarized photons will always change their states, and any attempt at trying to read the data will alert the communicators to a security breach. This makes quantum cryptography pretty secure. Quantum computers is also another classical application. We all know that the modern day computers work on the binary code, that is zeros and ones. The bits in the current circuits basically have two states where it can be either 0 or 1, and if you can have both 0 and 1 at the same time, you get something called quantum bits or qubits. Quantum bits are basically superconducting circuits that can run in two directions at once. The resulting computers would be so powerful that our brains can't even imagine. We are yet to build quantum computers which can be used anywhere like normal computers. The major problem that we face is that these qubits work only at low temperatures as they use superconducting materials. The last application that we will be discussing is the quantum teleportation. Teleportation has been one of the biggest dreams. We have seen it all in movies and we are yet to make it a reality. It basically means that we should be able to send objects from one place to another without the object traveling the space in between. Now, you might wonder, is it even possible? Yes, in theory, it is possible to teleport objects by using the property of quantum entanglement as we discussed earlier. We can have a lot of entangled particles at two far places and we can make an object interact with one set of entangled particles, and by this, we can transfer the exact quantum states of the object to another set of entangled particles, which would result in teleportation. In conclusion, that was a brief description about what the quantum theory is, how it all happened, and what is the importance of the quantum theory. Quantum mechanics still has a lot of scope for development, and once we achieve a whole unified theory, we would have a lot better understanding of the universe, and who knows, we might even find something more and more mysterious in this grand journey. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.